The Unused Subs is proudly presented by McDonald's. Don't forget to subscribe.
There's your final score. Wellington Phoenix 0, Auckland FC 5.
To lose 5-0 at home, with the season still to play for is unacceptable, and I take full responsibility. So I've told the club, I go, look, tender my resignation.
I am so sorry. This might be the worst episode of your podcast ever.
If it is, that's on us, Ethan. Today we watch the derby defeat through the eyes of the yellow fever, talk Chiefy's resignation from the Phoenix, Oluwayemi's horror show, and Greenie's return, all from the comfort of our gorgeous home of Tyler Street Sport. Paul Eiffel in studio, Jacob Spoonley alongside as always. All roads lead to Giancarlo Italiano's resignation after the 5-0 defeat at home to Auckland FC of all teams. Ify, you've had a couple of days to think about what's happened. What's your reaction to it, mate?
What I liked in the presser afterwards was the honesty. I think he had to be. I think what I liked from what he said was, any other derby in the world, you lose 6 in a row, you'd have been gone before now. Yeah. So I think, he did what he felt was right, and if he feels it's right, then it's right. The club will look to move on, but I think there's, I think we should remember what he did in his first season. I think that was absolutely magnificent. Never really got to those dizzying heights again, unfortunately, for a number of different reasons. He's had a pretty tough tenure, certainly with injuries and probably some of the major signings really not hitting the ground running. His last sort of throw of the dice with Sarpreet Singh gets him in.
55 minutes.
You're thinking, and I agree with that sign. I thought it was brilliant. I thought, what a great signing. Sarpreet's going to give everything. Wants to go to the World Cup, gets injured after 55 minutes, and that kind of sums up where this season has gone for Italiano, I think. So a lot to like, a lot that he'll be disappointed with, but I think he'll learn from this, and I think we'll see him again.
Pretty mixed feelings, I think. Like, when you talk to Chiefy, he's always such a nice guy, as Ify said as well. He gives us a lot of time in the media, which you don't get with every coach. And again, he's given me some of my fondest memories, being a former Phoenix player, a Phoenix fan, working in the media. When we were working together, Finn Sermon's goal against the Melbourne Victory as an example, that late goal by Oscar Zavada, these are all things that he helped create and he was the architect of. But on the flip side, it is a performance industry and the results have not been there in the second season or the third season.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I want to do a bit of a segment called The Good, Bad and Ugly, because I think it's quite easy for a lot of people to put the boot in, given the results over the last year and a half. But we also need to remind ourselves, as you just said, Jacob, that there were some really good moments under Giancarlo Italiano. And so let's start with the good. And the good, it's twofold for me. Obviously, the run 2 seasons ago, leading into that semi-final against Melbourne Victory, and seeing the stadium full that night, and even though the result didn't go their way, this is what Chiefy oversaw. And the final stages of their Phoenix development, the players like Alex Paulson, Finn Sermon, and Ben Old, KIWI boys who did really well. And then to your point, Ify, about Chiefy as a person, like he is the good. He was heavily invested in this club, not just over the last 3 seasons, but for 7 years throughout his tenure. But I remember going down to the Phoenix, and I think it was before their epic run 2 seasons ago. And I was like, mate, how are you actually coping with the step up into the head coaching position? And he said, well, I'm not getting a lot of sleep, and I'm not getting home much. And he was basically living at NZCIS or Sky Stadium, as it was formerly known. And that got worse as it wore on, right? So, he was so passionate and so dedicated. And so, for me, those are 2 of the really good things about his tenure.
I think as well, and probably just jumping ahead a little bit here, but it's probably 2 stints as an assistant coach and as a head coach. And I feel like we've gone from the days of when you do 10 years, 15 years at a club as the head coach into now doing 2 or 3 year projects, as it were. And I can't wait to see, with all of his kind of knowledge, to your point, and his investment, get some time off, gets a little bit of reset, rejuvenates, and then what will that next project look like for him? That's something that I'm reflecting on, because I'm sure there was a huge amount of relief after he made his decision.
100%.
Looked like a weight came off him, eh?
Oh, straight away.
In
He
that
looked
press
relaxed.
conference.
He looked
press
relaxed,
conference,
but he
yeah.
knew it was the right decision. And I think that's good for him, like as a person. I think he'll go away.
But that's a reflection of him as a person.
Oh no,
as well.
it is.
And
He's very
selfless.
thoughtful and
Yeah.
selfless. So I think it'll be a couple of days. It'll be really raw. It's going to be weird not going in and seeing the boys. That's one of the weird, because he'll have loved the camaraderie around the place. He's been there for a long time. He'll have a lot of good friends there, and that will take some getting used to. But I think there's a lot of life lessons in there, and he's a smart guy. So I think he'll go away and go, right, okay.
Goalkeeper, mate.
Yeah, there you go. It's one of the good ones.
I think he actually counted himself as a 6 in the end. Like a number of weeks ago when I had him on the pod,
Yeah, we all
and
do,
I
mate.
went one-on-one, he was like, oh yeah, I sort of rate myself as a defensive midfielder.
Hey, that's a goalkeeper. He's definitely a goalkeeper then, isn't he?
Well, no, usually goalkeepers say they want to go up front, I think.
yeah. Well, he's one of the smart ones. So,
Underlines your point. Yeah.
Look, like I said, a lot of time for him. I think he'll go away, reset, like you said, rejuvenate, and I think he'll be back somewhere. And I think he'll look at it and go, okay, what went so well in season 1, and why was there a fall off in season 2? And like I keep saying, he's one of the smartest coaches around. So I think he'll quickly understand. Okay, yeah, little tweak here, little tweak there. Maybe it was down to the recruitment. Maybe it was down to the people I got in around me. Maybe it was to do with what I was dealing upstairs. I don't know. So there's so many things, but I think he's smart enough to put the pieces together. So I do see him in back, and I think he'll go well somewhere else.
So that's the good.
Yep.
We're into the bad. And we've mentioned it a couple of times already. The seasons after that epic run to the semi-final, the failure to replace New Zealand talent that went offshore. Well, Alex Paulson kind of went offshore and then went to Auckland
back,
FC. Ben Old to France, Finn Sermon to the States. And there was a distinct drop-off, and we saw that in the results. Once you lose Alex Paulson, and we know how good he is playing out from the back, Josh Oluwayemi comes in, and he's not the same goalkeeper. And we've spoken to Michael about, he's a really special player, AP. Not too many goalkeepers can do that, Jacob, and they stuck true to that formula.
Why are you pointing to me? Yeah.
Well, you're a goalkeeper. You're a goalkeeper, mate. You're a goalkeeper. So, just a rigidity in the tactics and the approach really cost them last season, didn't it?
Yeah, I'll put you and Ramon on a list of people that don't think I can play out. But look, I think there's two things in there.
Rarefied era, I think you'd say. Yeah.
I was about to say, I'm happy to join that.
I think two things in that regard. Yeah, I think there was a pragmatism that perhaps wasn't present in the second season as it was in the first season. And I think also under Ufi, I think with Ufi's teams, there was a theoretical element to them, but then there was a pragmatism to them. And perhaps we didn't see that in Chiefy's second season. The corollary of that is that we did see quite volatile, extreme changes of tactics. So it was either all-out attack and what can we do in possession, and then sitting on the box and denying teams or going to that very high back line. So, yeah, again, I think that's probably something that I'm reflecting on and saying, was that putting them in a good position? We'll note this, though, circumstances. The injuries to people like Marco Rojas, which Chiefy came out and said, I'm basing my whole formation around it. And I completely agree. Marco Rojas, Johnny Warren medalist, did so well for Melbourne Victory and all white at the time, and then an injury that kept him out for a decent chunk of the season. Same with Sarpreet Singh this year. The window, I think, has been pretty good. Bill Tuiloma, Sander Khartoum, Sarpreet Singh.
Yeah, you can't fault it.
They wanted to inject some quality, and they used the World Cup to their advantage as a club, and it unfortunately, it hasn't clicked, which I think was the final nail in the coffin. But the other thing, mate, is that, and I'll note this because I think there's a prevailing fan sentiment at the moment that why aren't we getting these young Kiwis coming through? It's because it's cyclical. It's not a linear line, and also it takes time. And I think we're only seeing some of these players now really wrestling with the demands of professional football and the in and out nature of week to week professional football. Whereas Oldie, Finn, and AP had been in that environment for what, around about 4 years, 5 years? But they weren't playing all the time, but they were in there.
And out, and, learning from the better players.
So that's the other thing I would note, mate.
Just before you pick up, Ify, a couple of players to note as well. Tim Payne has spent a long time out on the sidelines this year with his shoulder/collarbone injury, and then go back to last season, and they didn't have Alex Rufer for the longest time, trying to figure out what his mystery illness was as well.
100%. And can I also note, Josh Oluwayemi was actually playing fantastic, and then he got that horrible injury against Central Coast Mariners.
Yeah, that's right.
He was it was best game in a Phoenix shirt in Derby number 2.
That's right. Cast your mind back. Tommy Smith is on the show giving
Actually giving him
Josh
props.
Oluwayemi
Yeah.
a shout out.
He
Like
was.
that's how good he was.
Yeah, he was flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, it's easy to go, his recruitment wasn't great. But then you look and go, could Josh have been a very good keeper following AP? And the jury's out, obviously, and we're talking about a bias of what
We
we've just
won't
seen this
know
weekend,
to a
right?
certain extent, will we?
But yeah, I think you go back to that, he was just finding form. So it's, again, I think a lot of things went against him. I think you can argue that the recruitment in season 2 was difficult, but he didn't quite nail it. So I think, firstly, how do you replace those young Kiwis?
Yep.
You probably can't. If you can't, then you have to nail it with the inputs that you get in. Didn't quite work. And for a number of reasons, we've already talked about Marco Rojas. Ishige was just okay, I think, that season.
Yep.
Nagasawa was just okay. I think we're seeing a better version of Nagasawa now.
season,
Probably
yeah,
too
agreed.
late. But I just don't think he quite got it right with those. And then I agree with you. That second season, I think he was caught between carrying on with what Tale had left in terms of the style and finding his own way.
Yes.
So he sort of had a
Wrestling with
mid-range,
it,
but
yeah.
it was a bit of this sometimes, a bit of that sometimes. Whereas you move on to season 3, he went, no, this is my team now. I've got what I need. I've got the bits and pieces. And it started with the high line, which we were all, how often were we talking about that?
Too
weeks
often.
and weeks and weeks
Yeah.
about this high line. Not just us, it was everywhere, every team, everybody around the country.
I was
And
actively avoiding it, I
Yeah,
think,
well,
yeah.
we tried to, but it was one of those that I feel bad for saying it, but it was one that we kept saying, it's just destined to fail. I just don't think it works. And, as the weeks went by, there was less talk of it. There was less talk of it from him. And I think he went, I kind of need to abandon this, but I'm not going to come out and go, highline abandoned. I'm just going to let it sort of subside
out.
and
Yeah,
phase
yeah.
it out.
Yeah.
And it was pretty clear that was the case. But then
I don't mind that as a corporate strategy.
No, look,
Just
I
ignore
kind
it.
of
It's like
get
the
it. I
tide
kind of
is
get it.
slowly receding on the beach, isn't it?
Couple of meters each week, and then we're back to base. So yeah, I think that's how it went. So there a lot that went wrong for him for sure.
Well,
But
look-
again, learning.
The statistic that sort of underlines where the high line sits, I suppose, is that they've conceded 38 goals already this campaign.
Yes.
And we talk about how bad last season was, 43 goals. So they're only 5 goals off that with how many games left to play? 7 or
6 or
8?
7, 8,
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I jump on that? Because I think IFE's tenure was an exemplamatic era that a lot of teams want to replicate. And we talk about it so often. It's so tough going to Wellington. The last 6 games, they've conceded a minimum of 2 goals at home. And these are the 6 home games. That defensive kind of awkwardness, that defensive resilience isn't there. And I feel like that's foundational for any Phoenix side.
Yep.
I don't know if it's because teams are getting used to travelling across the Tasman with Auckland coming on board as well now. So it's kind of diluted it. But to your point, you can't concede that many goals. It's a shootout each week.
Yep. It's a shootout, and if you can have a shootout, you better bring some big guns to it. And
Yeah.
I don't think the Phoenix had enough big guns this
be-
season.
Can we just go back
apart
to the
from
good?
Eze, by the way.
Yeah, can we just go back to the good?
Yeah, forgot
we
about
can
Eze, didn't we?
rewind.
Yeah.
Eze.
Craig David.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Eze, if we want to talk about good,
Yeah.
I mean, I think
Yes.
the recruitment of
What
Eze.
a
Yes.
signing.
Because
Yes.
everyone was like,
It was
Where?
outrageous,
Yeah,
wasn't
where?
it? Like, you've got a
What
Nigerian
league's
guy
he
from
playing in?
Iraq.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like, this
yeah.
this shouldn't make
It's
sense.
the start of a bad joke.
And as we-
yeah. And then he's
a
been
Nigerian
brilliant.
walks into Iraq.
Yeah. Oh.
And we said this before, a couple of weeks back. Like, this is a guy at the top of the Golden Boot charts,
Yep.
replacing Costa Barbarouses.
Yeah, who was excellent. So,
Replacing
yeah.
Costa.
yep.
Yeah.
His ability, and opponents hate this, which I think is a great credit to him, how he runs down things.
Oh, he just-
and he
oh,
just
harries everybody.
doesn't let
He is
anything go.
tireless,
I'd
isn't he?
hate planning it. Just you'd be like, mate, just leave me alone.
But mate, as good
Ugh.
as good as you were in black and yellow, like, you must look at him and go, "Geez, I wish I had that level of desire, like the hunger that he has, chasing everything, like lost causes.
Yep.
He gives it just as much effort.
Greeny did that, so I didn't have to.
So exactly
It's
right,
good.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like you're delegating. You're delegating. I'll score all the goals, and you just run around like a
I'll be in the
headless
middle.
crab.
You go and do the channels. No, but look, I think everybody's different. But I think a lot of his goals come from his hard work.
Yeah.
And it's not always his positioning or his timing or his movement. Some of that I think is actually probably not at the level, which is funny. But the work rate is above the level, which has been great.
Before we get to the ugly, another good. So we've rewound to the
go
good.
on.
I just want to say Isaac Hughes.
Yeah.
So last season, made a number of mistakes. He was caught out with own goals. This season, he has elevated his performance, so much so that in a backline that has had Mandraker James, and I think there was a lot of fanfare. This guy's got a lot of experience.
Yep.
He's played for Canada. He's outshone Mandraker. He's almost become the leader of that backline. And can you think of a time where Isaac Hughes has let the Phoenix down in a backline where they've conceded 38 goals this season? I don't think he's been noticeably bad, which is saying a lot.
I'm just thinking where there were clear, obvious errors.
In the weekend, were there any goals conceded down the left? Because that's where he was being deployed. I was just thinking about that. I can't think of
No,
any.
you had the
So
two,
it's
the
hard
two
to
Jesse
think of
chances.
anything, eh?
You had the two Jesse chances, obviously the Wonder goal or the Wonder own goal.
So we talk
No, I
about
don't think so.
we talk about the development of these Kiwis, and that is a very obvious
That's that
rise,
improvement,
right? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Good point.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely in the good.
Okay.
Yes.
The ugly.
Yeah.
It's the derbies, right?
Oh yeah. No, that 6-0. Yeah.
I think for me, it's two things. It's the derbies. I think it's the high line as well.
Yeah, right.
I know we kind of put that in the bad, but I think it does.
It's bridging the
eco
gap.
over. Yeah, I think so. I think it went on for too long. So it put us behind the 8 ball a little bit. It's like, we've got a little bit to do. I think if he clearly decided to abandon it at some point without coming out and saying it, I think if he'd abandoned it 3 weeks earlier, you might have 4 or 5 points more on the board. Are you still in the mix? You might be sitting in the top 6 right now. You've lost maybe a close derby and you're still in your job. Yeah. I'm not going to put it down just to that, but I think that might have made a big difference.
I think the home form this season, and then also the derbies, like simultaneously perhaps giving them too much importance and at the same time not enough. I don't know how that works out, but that's just kind of how I feel.
You figure out how that works.
I'll get back to you on that one. But I think there seems to have been a shrinking of the soul of the club this season. I think I'll put it down to that. The crowds aren't showing up.
No.
They desperately need something to grab onto in the context of the derby, and they haven't got that yet. I think he was probably touching on that in his post-match interview.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, when he was acknowledging that.
Yeah.
Again, simultaneously, a lot of importance, and then he touched on that, and again, as you say, a very astute observer of football, a big fan of football generally, and I did like how honest he was in that post-match.
I think he referenced Sampdoria Genoa, and he was saying, that's a big derby. I love that. I watched that. I support Sampdoria. I'd want the coach out. That's what he actually said. He said, if it was the same record, I would want the coach out.
Yeah.
So again,
That
great
awareness.
honesty. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the ugly part for me.
Oh, mate, the derby record is truly shocking. Not just 6-0 in favour of Auckland FC, but the manner of defeats. And we've said it time and again, whether it's here on the Unused Subs or you guys covering it on Game Day, Auckland FC find numerous ways to beat Wellington Phoenix. It's not like, here's our game plan and you're not good enough to combat that. It's like plan A, B, C, D, E. And every single time, however it's been, whether Auckland FC are down to 9, it's just been ridiculous. And
tight late on, score early.
Yeah, they just do it in different ways. And 20-4 across 6 matches. They've conceded 20 goals in 6 games to Auckland FC. Like, to think that the derby record is anything other than ugly, I think you'd have to be dropped on your head. It's not even a rivalry at this point. It's just a routine flogging, I think.
Yeah, and the Phoenix players, firstly, would not be looking forward to that fixture. You go, when the fixtures come out, I'd be thinking, God, we've got to do that 3 times next year. But I think you've got to give the props to Auckland FC and the coaching staff for being able to find a way. But again, I've spoken about this a little bit this season, but if you look at who they employed at that club, you've got to give them props. They got it right. Terry McFlynn, winner. Steve Corica, winner as a player and coach. Danny Hay, the same. Jonathan Gould, the same. Like, there's a lot of people in that building that know what they're doing. And I go back to when they first came into the league, and the first time I heard Bill Foley speak.
My ring's not quite as big.
You're right. And I don't think it will be, unfortunately. I loved how bullish he was.
Yeah.
I thought he was
was
misguided.
Anti-Kiwi in a lot of ways.
I was like, oh, geez, this is a bit.
But it was medicinal.
But then I went, okay, now you've got to back it up, and then they did.
Yeah.
And they're doing it again. So, can the Phoenix make a dent? I think they will next year if they make the right appointment, which we'll probably go on to. But tough right now for everybody at the club.
Yeah, and I think that's it, mate. it's in a lull. It's in a quite a deep lull, and I've heard worst result in the club's history a bit. As a former player and still as like a fan of the Phoenix and what they're doing, because want them to do well. We need them to do well for the derby. Want a response out of the club. And I think everyone's trying to figure out, who's responsible at the moment. This finger's being pointed. It's the whole club, I think. There needs to be a response. All right, cool. This is, to your point, as Bill said, this is our ambition. This is what we want to do. That's the Auckland blueprint. Great. What's the Wellington one? And how can we watch them go through and implement this going forward?
We've got to get pride back between now and the end of the season.
Yes.
Get pride back.
By the way,
win a couple of games.
5 points
for
off
next
the
year.
6.
No. Look, if I was going in, I'd be saying let's go. What a story.
Yeah.
Like, everybody's written them off.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Brilliant.
If you finish bottom, you're kind of expected to.
Yes.
So I'd go in with that sort of
House money?
Who cares? Let's go. And I think if it ends up being my old mate Chris Greenacre, I think he can galvanise them and turn them around.
Well, let's talk more about Chris Greenacre shortly. First of all, at the weekend, I did the ridiculous. For the first time in almost 2 years, I turned up to the stadium, but I didn't have the cushy flight that Jacob Spoonley has, or the lovely
was on the same
hotel on
flight.
Featherston. What I did was I drove my poxy little Kia from Auckland to Wellington, covered 1,300 kilometres in the space of about 36 hours.
Good stats from
just so I could watch the Wellington Phoenix, and more importantly, the Yellow Fever, get amongst things on Derby Day. Courtesy of McDonald's, here are the results.
Come on, Phoenix. Come on, Phoenix. Come on, Phoenix. Oh, Josh, please. Josh, please. Josh, please. Oh! You can't be serious, man. No, you actually can't be. We keep finding miraculous new ways of losing these games. That's absolutely ridiculous. Are you serious? Are you serious, man? You can't do that. You can't do that in a game. You can't do that.
So what are we going to do? Put Kelly Howard on after last week's performance?
60 minutes left. There's still time.
To what? Concede 4 more?
Be positive.
Be positive!
A little bit positive. Uh-oh, Randall. Yeah, there we go. There we go.
It can't go on like this, can it? It can.
That's absolutely ridiculous. To be a professional footballer, you can see that goal.
She asked me, are you loyal? I support the Wellington Phoenix. She's like, will you stay with me through thick and thin? I'm a Phoenix fan. Of course I will. Don't ask dumb questions.
It's going to end 5-0. You can see it.
This is so bad.
Another one game where I'm supporting Phoenix.
Like, genuinely, it can't get any worse than it does, eh?
Nuh-uh. Please no. He's on as well. He's on.
So much space.
Yeah.
So much space.
Yeah.
So much space. Every single one of them had so much space. No one's checking that run, and then no one is on the man in the middle of the box.
Yeah,
no
bro.
one's on him.
How's he getting burned?
Yeah, probably at the top.
Facial something.
It's facial.
2 years ago, we were the best team in the league. Two years ago, the stadium was full.
Being an Auckland fan must be so easy.
I've just cried in a Phoenix game for the second time, okay? First time was Melbourne 2 years ago, second time was fucking today.
It's next week, Sunday.
What is it? It's too late now. When is it half time?
Yeah.
Josh, what are you doing? Josh, you fucking idiot! Start, please. Please.
Just walk, Chiefy. Just walk. Just walk. Bye-bye. You can't keep your job after this.
I thought I'd come over and wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you, mate. The thing is, I was expecting a loss, but not this bad, eh?
Bro, Eze's the only one trying.
Yes! You know what? Add Hughes to the mana list. Hughes. Hughes is on the keep list. Hughes, Roofer, and Eze, and that's it.
Score, please score, please score. Yeah.
You just knew that was going to happen. You just knew.
Genuinely, this is the worst defeat in our history.
Yes, it is.
Yes,
It is.
it literally is. It literally is.
This is 100% the worst defeat in our history. This is worse than 6-1. Because that was at least away. This is at home. None of these people are going to turn up next week. None of them. I don't blame them.
Are you going straight after this, or? I just want to go straight home. I am so sorry. This might be the worst episode of your podcast ever.
By the way, Kia, the sponsorship for Kia is just gone. Poxy little Kia.
I'd like to rescind the comments I made about Kia preceding the clip.
Thank you, commercial manager Paul Eiffel. Yeah,
The Kia Seltos is a wonderful vehicle. You know what's really good about it? The cruise control.
Hold up.
Because
Forward.
the cruise control option is really good because then you don't have to extend your leg out the whole time on the pedals.
You can look after your hamstring
Exactly.
in its own hand.
Yeah, you just sit
Save
there.
one knee as well. I need to get one. Kia, if you're listening, I'll have a Seltos.
Look, obviously, thanks so much to the Yellow Fever, Ethan Fransen and the guys in the bay that were so generous with their time and allowed us to mic them up for the Unused Subs. A truly shocking day for them. And the comment that one of them made, I think it was Jackson, this is the worst performance in Wellington Phoenix history.
I think it's the worst result.
Worst result
arguably.
in Phoenix history.
I think it's so strange. The game was so strange. I was sat on the halfway doing the comms, and 30 odd minutes in, we're actually speaking to each other, going, "What are we going to talk about at halftime?" Like, nothing has happened. It's just been throw-ins. It's been stunted play. Nothing has gone on. And then within about 12 minutes, there was 4 goals. So there was a period where they were awful. And then if you look at the second half, they weren't great, but they weren't, trust me, I've played in worse games.
I have played in worse.
Yeah, we lost 7-1, I think, in Sydney. And I'm telling you now, we were never in the game. There wasn't a period where you go, we were okay. We were woeful
it's Sydney.
from start to finish.
It's Sydney.
No,
it's
I
not
get that.
Auckland. It's
but
not
I think,
a Kiwi.
but I think it's result. I
that's-
think it's result, and
that's
it's
the
not
thing,
performance.
yeah.
And the result leads to the coach
No,
resigning.
I think the day, as a whole day,
Impactful. Yeah.
completely get that. I think as a performance, I think they've played worse than that and probably drawn games.
I've played worse. Yes.
There you go.
We got toyed with by a Melbourne Victory side who got to the halfway, and I think they were 3-0 up at half time, and they just came out and just kept the ball in the second half. So, I agree with Ify. There is one thing that I do need to address, just as a small point.
Yeah.
As the goal went in from Jake Gerwood-Reich, a number of
you're
people...
crediting Jake, not Josh.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Josh doesn't want it.
No, yeah.
It's a shot from 78 metres out.
Yeah, I kept on getting tagged and being like, "Oh, is that you laughing in the background?" Absolutely not.
Tom Doyle, right?
No, it's a sideline mic. So it's a fan or it's a punter that's.
If he's backing away, was it you?
What?
Might be.
Yeah, it was. It's an whatever it is. It's an unfortunate reaction. I please just stop tagging me in it. I
It's more likely
Keep tagging him.
It was more likely me than Spoons, but I'm not sure because I had the mic as it went in. I put the mic there because I couldn't believe what I'd seen.
Yeah.
And then I was grabbing Doyley's leg. Cause I've never seen anything like that.
It was
not live anyway. It was one of those ones that you do see in South African football or a game in Venezuela that you go, well, that must be like the 7th division. What is that?
Yes.
And it was live, and it was like, I hope they don't come.
A-League.
Well, I was thinking, please don't come down to me. I don't know what to say. And I think I said that. I think that was my line. I think I said, I don't really know what to say. I can't believe what I've just seen.
It's gone viral. Everybody's looking at it. You're getting tagged in it. Yeah. Maybe I feel stuck getting tagged as well. But it was born out of, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Spoon, because you're the goalkeeping expert here. I believe it was born out of the approach this year, because you've got a goalkeeper who's having to sweep 40 to 50 metres, in the words of Michael Vout. So he's really conscious of moving forward to shut down the space so that Auckland FC's attackers can't find a way to goal. So he's in two minds. Am I going? Am I staying? And then he's just in no man's land, and that's how it all occurs. Am I somewhere in the ballpark there?
I think you've got a really good, a really important ingredient in all of that. I would say as well, it's his first game back for 2 months. He has been vocal in targeting it as his return match. It is the derby. It's a huge game. He's got history in the match, in that stadium. And right before, I think it's about 2 or 3 minutes before, he comes out for a ball. And I don't know what it was like pitch side, but there was a bit of
wet. It was wet. It was a little bit windy. Yeah, a little bit gusty.
So again, making excuses for the goalkeeper. No, just this is the conditions. But he came out for it, and it bounced over his head. And he then had to like hurry back, and that would have brought the anxiety levels up a bit. So I think, and I've done this in the past, I'm speaking from personal experience, I think he wanted to go out and affirm a positive decision. So he wanted to be assertive in the moment, and he got it wrong. Also, just as an aside, Ivy, Jack Gilward-Reich's kicked it probably like 80 metres or something. It's a massive
He's probably never done that before in his life.
So I don't think Josh is expecting it to go that far.
Oh, no, nobody was. That was the thing. I think as it left his foot, everybody was like, oh my goodness. That's that's an absolute bomb. But then it kept going. And then it's like the whole stadium panned at the same time. So like everybody went, what's going to... And then... Why is Josh so far out? But I think what you're saying is right. I think Josh thought to himself, I'd rather be higher up so that I can collect it on the full. Don't need to let the ball bounce.
He's not in the rhythm.
Well, the first one hit the ground and you could see the water spin off. So it hit the ground, span over his head, and he's round and you hear the crowd, ooh.
Yes.
Like you said, the anxiety levels go up. So he's probably thinking, actually, I'm not doing that again. If I get a little bit higher, I'll catch it on the full, take my touch, and I'm playing. Completely got it wrong. And it took a little bit in the wind. I mean, it's probably one of them. That would happen 100 times, and it bounces off his head and goes all sorts of different directions. Yeah. The fact that it's gone flush straight is unbelievable.
The other thing is that the Phoenix have actually, I'm going to say dominated, that's the wrong word, but they've had the best or the better of the opening 20 minutes. I don't think I haven't looked back at it yet. I don't think Josh actually has to make a decision.
No,
so that might be his first decision that he makes. And
it was a shocker.
All of that comes into this misjudgment.
Well, look, we could talk about Josh and that era till the cows come home, but let's reframe it a little bit. Clearly, it was a great performance from Auckland FC, who were down on troops themselves.
I don't know if it was.
No, well, look, they were without Louis Verstrata. They don't have Sam Cosgrove up front. They don't have Nando Pinecker, right? So there's like a rod through the middle of the team that is absent. But then you've got Jesse Randall. I feel like you predicted this on the show last week, Ivy, and you said that he was going to twist the knife. I mean, he bled the Phoenix dry at the weekend.
We got to see a little bit of him before the game, and he did a pitch side interview, and he was absolutely chilled. He was so relaxed, and I thought, if he gets a few chances today, he's going to be on it. You know, I've coached him before, so I know what he's like, and that's when he's at his best, and he was ready to go. And I think for him the move to the Scottish Premiership has made him even more relaxed because he knows that's in the bank, that's done. So it's like, just enjoy myself. And I think he's in that sort of frame of mind. He's, almost in the zone, whatever you want to call it. But
flow state.
Yeah, flow state almost. Like nothing really phases him. Like, give me the ball. I'm better than this level now. And you can see that. And I think he's going to end up going to the World Cup. I think he's going to be, I don't think he starts games necessarily, but I think he's going to be so dangerous off of the bench. And I think Dundee are going to be going, wow, we have absolutely nailed it here. I don't see him at Dundee long. I really don't see him at Dundee long. I think he's into Dundee. I think he's a season there, and then I think he's a Celtic or a Rangers, depending if Rangers can get back on it. And then it might be even off to the Premier League. I think he can do that. Yeah, I think he's good enough. There's plenty more that we haven't seen, honestly, that I saw day in, day out in training, games at the lower level that he's just starting to show now. It's so exciting.
We were robbed, though.
We were robbed. I know you're going to go here.
We were robbed. The Steadicam went down for the build-up.
Oh, no.
No, I know. But what we had is a Jesse Randall breakdown, his impact in the season. We had Librero, I'm going to get that right, of the 2 goals and how he gets himself into that centre-left channel. And then we're going to walk out onto the field and get Paul Eiffel to reenact from where, Ify?
From exactly where he scored both the goals.
We had it. Oh yeah.
The rehearsal. I don't want to pump our own tyres up, but
I do.
I'm going to.
I feel like this is where we're heading.
I'm going to. The rehearsal was magnificent, buzzing. I was really excited to do it. Then they said the Steadicam's down. I'm like, and I knew what was going to happen. I thought he's definitely scoring from there today. We're not going to see the benefit of this at all.
It's almost exactly on the spot.
It was near enough the same bit of grass. It was crazy.
Oh my God! Yeah. So Yeah, looking at that, it would have been cool to have that moment where you got Ify telling everyone how Jesse's going to score from the exact spot that he does score.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, maybe next time, eh? Yeah. Because chances are he'll do it again at some point before the close of the season. And who knows, maybe the Phoenix under Chris Greenacre can get into a playoff spot, so we may not have seen
one more time.
Yeah, our final Auckland-Wellington match for this campaign.
Yeah, who's hanging around second, third at the moment? Auckland? Where do the Phoenix want to be?
Sixth.
Let's go.
Imagine it. Imagine it. Yeah, so who knows? Like, the season may not be over for the Wellington Phoenix, and they could play Auckland FC again. But let's talk about Greenie, who is in the head coach capacity with the Wellington Phoenix after Giancarlo's resignation, with a view to extending beyond this season as the head coach. Your thoughts on Greenie, and not only that, because it's clearly the right call. He bleeds black and yellow, this guy. And how awesome is it to have a guy like Greenie up your sleeve to be able to go, hey, look, for the fourth time, can you bail us out? Yep, got my bag packed, I'm ready to go. Put me in the game, sort of thing. But you and he worked so well together as a partnership on the field, and we all know how good you've been as a coach domestically. What's it going to take to get you alongside Chris Greenacre and do the double act with the Wellington Phoenix next season and beyond, Ify?
The most reluctant coach.
The drums are beating for you. The drums are beating for you.
I'm a reluctant head coach. I wouldn't want to take the head coaching job. Yeah, I don't want to be a head coach in the A-League at the moment. That may never come. Would I like to be involved? Look, I think I owe Greenie. Like I always say, every podcast I'm on, he did all my hard yards, and I got the tap-ins. So look, if he picked up the phone and wanted to be involved in some capacity, I'd certainly think about it. I'm not going to say on here yes, because I'll put myself in trouble. I'll have to speak to the wife, and I've got a few things. I've got a few things going on at the moment. I'm pretty busy. But
the lawyer hat on. Don't accept an offer that's not been made.
No, isn't it easier to ask for forgiveness than permission? So
it depends who I'm talking to. Yeah. Not with the wife. No. Look, I've got a lot on. I'd certainly have the conversation. Nothing's out there. I've honestly not had a phone call. But in saying all that, I'm buzzing for Greenie. I think he has done his time. He's done the hard yards. He was one of the most hardworking players I've ever played with. An amazing roommate. He's done so well in the coaching scene in terms of bringing players through to the first team. So he's got a really good relationship with so many of those young players that probably need an arm around their shoulder at the moment as well. He's a player-centred coach. So I think it suits. I'm really pleased that there was no interim in that press release. Yeah, really pleased, because I think that is a disrespect to him. I think he should be looked at beyond this season. I think he can go in there and galvanise straight away. The fact that he's a former Phoenix legend, I think he'll get that instant respect from the players, and the fact that he's just ready to go. I think it's his time.
Having seen the press release, there's two things that stand out, and they are that Sean Gill has said Greenie didn't hesitate.
Yep. Doesn't surprise me.
Wants to restore pride in the shirt.
Yep. Doesn't surprise me at all. That's Greenie. If anybody ever watched him play, I played in games where we were getting absolutely walloped, and Greenie was still going. 100 miles an hour, trying to get us back in the game. Games that were lost, and he was. When we talked earlier about the likes of Eze, Greenie was similar. He chased down all sorts, and you're thinking, why are you going after that, mate? You're not getting there. And then he'd get a toe on it, and then he'd cross it in, and I get a tap in, and everybody would say, "Oh, well done, Ifes."
Does that make Corbin Piper the Paul Eiffel of this?
Yeah, we'll come back to that one.
Look, at the end of the day, all Wellington Phoenix supporters want is what's best for the club. Yep. Now, it might be Chris Greenacre. It could be Chris Greenacre and Paul Eiffel together. You and I were talking very briefly before we started recording, and a guy that came up in conversation, Ben Kahn.
Yep.
Now, it was a few years ago that he had a head coaching position in the A-League with Brisbane Roar, and he had to stand down for medical reasons. He's now back with Solomon Kings. I met him for the first time covering the OFC Pro League in Auckland. What was that, a few weeks back? He's such a down-to-earth, lovely guy, and clearly he has the nous, he's got the intelligence, and he's got the demeanour that players really buy into. Like, why is Jess Lofthouse playing for Solomon Kings? It's probably because of Ben Kahn, right? What would we say about getting him involved? And whether he's the head coach or maybe he's an assistant to Chris Greenacre, I don't know. But there's another option that would create some sort of, buy-in, some greatness around this this proud club once again?
I think it's a good option, but I think it has to be Greeny as head coach. And it's whether you could persuade somebody like a Ben Khan, who has been a head coach, to come and assist Greeny. I think they'd be a magnificent combination. A lot of knowledge there. Everybody I've spoke to that's worked with Ben speaks so highly of him, and the same can be said about Greeny. So I think you get two really good people in there, and then you fill out the rest of the staff from there. But you know, it's a tough one. Is that going to be something that can't happen until next year? That's why it's going to be really interesting over these next couple of weeks. What does Greeny do? Does he get people in the interim, even though he's not interim, to sort of get him through till the end of the season, then really look at what he needs for next season? So there's a couple of ways for him to go about it. Is he going to go out all guns blazing trying to get a new staff in now? Does he keep the staff till the end of the season and work out who does what? What do I need? What's good for me for next season? There's a couple of ways he can go about this.
I agree with that last bit. And I think you need to look at this in terms of phases. One, this initial period to the end of the season. And then at the end of the season, I think the football marketplace, players, but also importantly staff, that opens up. You might have some eyes on some people that can't commit at the moment, or you might have some people in mind that are currently under contract through whatever reason might become available at the end of the season, or some people that you didn't even know are possible that would become available. So in this initial phase, because of the weight that's very clearly on the club, on the players, you want to inject some energy. And that's, I think, the first thing. So if it is a Ben Khan, cool. You both speak very highly of him. I've only had a little bit to do with him and know that he's been through a lot. But there needs to be, I feel, some restoration. You need to be looking forward to going into training. That's their first thing, I think, is you need to make it so that the players want to be there. And I'm not saying they don't want to be there. I'm just saying it might be a burden at the moment for some of them. Work is not enjoyable. So get that back. Whatever that is, however you want to go about doing it, get it back.
That can be down to training sessions. It can be down to the way you hold yourself. It can be meetings. It can be getting somebody in that get Ben Sigmund in.
Yeah,
he'll give the boys what they need. He'll give them a rock
distract
up.
them to a certain extent.
Yeah, I mean, look,
make it fun.
He's not somebody with a history in coaching.
Yeah,
but he understands the club and he understands what it takes to win games of football.
And he's passionate.
Oh
I
my
think.
goodness! Yeah,
and also it's not mucking around. It's not taking the piss with stuff. It's enjoyment. Like the professional footballers, they're there to do a very demanding job. They need to enjoy it.
Yeah. Lastly, in wrapping things up, the whole, well, not the whole reason, but one of the main reasons we're talking about this today, Chiefy's resignation, Chris Greenacre coming in as the head coach, and trying to fix the Wellington Phoenix, is Auckland FC. It's the new boys on the block and what they've done in the derbies and how they've conducted themselves. And, you know, I just thought to myself at the weekend, I had a lot of time to think as I was driving back from Wellington.
All 1,300 kilometres.
Well, I think it was only 650 on the return trip. But anyway,
there we go.
It was a long fucking time. So I'm thinking to myself, God, those inside the four walls of Auckland FC would be so stoked with what happened on Saturday. Not only did they beat Wellington Phoenix for the 6th time, they destroyed them on their own park. And at the end of the game, the coach resigned. Like, that is...
Yeah.
Job is absolutely well and truly done.
It's
they
the full
must
shebang.
be, it's jackpot, baby. It's like 3 cherries, or I don't do much gambling, but you know, like the.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I get you.
Yeah. I knew you would. Yeah. But you know what I mean. Like, they must be thinking, shit, this is so good.
I think the party line from the club and from Steve will be, oh no, you know, super professional. A lot of time for Chiefy, blah 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 blah. He's done it. I think behind closed doors, they began. There you go. That's what we can do, and I think that will be kind of used to galvanise the group. And I think they'll refer back to it a lot. I think they can really use it to see out the rest of the season. It will be interesting to see what is actually said out to the public. I think it will be very different.
Yeah, just a little bit different.
Yep.
Yeah. My take is that I don't like talking about someone's profession here and, you know, losing their job. So I think always very careful, and there'll be some empathy in there. I don't know if the club will be entirely happy with how it's playing out. I think they'll love the fact that they've got domination, but to your point before, they need a fixture that they can sell. They need a competitive Wellington Phoenix, and we need to see them hold their ground. So, yeah, I think really happy in a lot of ways with what's happened, and I'll just expand upon what I said before, where I don't think it was a particularly good performance from Auckland FC. I don't think they played overly well. I think they were fantastic in performances, like Jesse, and I think they were good in moments. But it wasn't a fantastic game of football. It had some fantastic highlights, but overall, I think this will be a game where they say we didn't play that well, but we still went out and won 5-0.
Yeah. So in summary, even though they will be quite happy with how things have played out, they need the Wellington Phoenix to be a strong rival, not just a speed bump.
I think we all do. Look,
off.
we want to. I think as a country, we'd like to see a team from Christchurch come in. So I think we need 2 high-performing teams in the A-League to be able to push that
to justify a third.
Yep.
Well, good luck to Greenie and yourself making that happen. Mate.
Thanks, mate.
No comment.
Do you want an assistant coaching?
No,
as well?
absolutely not. No.
Goalkeeper coaching.
No.
Yeah, goalkeeper coach.
No.
Hey, and I can be the vibes guy. I can be the vibes guy.
We've got it. We've cracked it.
Brilliant.
We've cracked it. You off? Yeah, good. See you, mate.
This has been another outstanding episode of the Unused Subs, proudly presented by McDonald's.